Terry Hall, Quotations and Sayings. Terrence Edward Terry Hall is an English musician and the lead singer of The Specials and formerly of Fun Boys 3, The Color Field, Terry Blair and Anushka, and Vegas. He has released 2 solo albums and has also collaborated with many artists including David A. Stewart, Bananarama, Lightning Seeds, Sinead O'Connor, Stephen Duffy, Dub Pistols, Gorillaz, Damon Alburn, D12, Tricky, Junkie XL, Layla Arab, Lily Allen, Shakespeare's Sister, and Nouvelle. My feeling is, we're confident that when people actually get the facts of what's going on, it's not hard to be against these toll roads. My father was a builder. He had a contracting company, and I'm a people person. We try to make it to all of the games, to be there to support. There's 3 generations of us here. We're determined to keep our Texas freeways free. These highways have already been paid for by our tax dollars. If they try to make us pay toll on it, it's nothing short of double taxation. I think the number of people we've reached and gotten involved is a testament to the depth and breadth of this issue. I tested a couple other products, and as far as I can see, it is complicated enough that one buying a product over the internet has no way of knowing what product you're going to get. When you have these 2 groups coming together, it just shows the depth and the strength of our cause. We are very blessed. Part of it is agricultural practices, and part of it is just how the valley works in terms of natural hydrology. We are very disappointed in our inability to recover past costs for this program, but it was imperative that the contract be renegotiated to curtail future program investments and cash outflows. The renegotiation allows for an increase in motor pricing for 14 motors to be delivered in 2006 and 2007. Pricing for an additional 21 motors in 2008 and beyond will be subject to negotiation during the next year. The grapevines are really completely shut down and there's no growth going on. They can sit underwater. Every single candidate for Texas governor is talking about the issue. This is a major issue in many political campaigns because this is a major issue for the citizens of Texas. Even Kinky Friedman is talking about it. People don't, in general, have a full understanding of what is required and needed to keep consumer food safe and the practices that are involved in the industry. That is key to make sure people understand. Once there's a rainstorm, there's a carpet of green all over the valley. There's no exposed dirt, so it really holds the soil in place. They overspend, and they're a picture of bloated government bureaucracy that needs to tighten its own belt and get its own house in order before it asks drivers to pay a toll tax to existing highways. The concept involved is giving that remedial training needed to hold a position to people to put them in a position to be more attractive to the industry and give them some specific knowledge. There were more hotel rooms in our town than we had people. You've got a gift to do stuff. Terry Hall remembered. In memory of Terry Hall, who has sadly passed away aged 63, Mojo revisits our 2014 interview with The Specials' inspirational frontman. How's the new DJing career? It's good fun. Doing this show is just like going through your records and thinking, shit, I haven't heard this for years. It's songs that I like that remind me of a period in my life. It's how I communicate, really, through records, because I find it easier than talking. When I've made records, it's for the same reason, to tell the people around how you feel, because you find it hard to tell them. On this show, we played Peggy Lee, Is That All There Is? An unbelievable, fantastic record. When I've come to the end of something, that song always comes into my head. The end of what? I don't know. Whatever ends. What ends? Everything ends. Bobby's Gentry's Ode to Billy Joe too. That always reminds me of when I was 8. I was really disturbed by it. It was like there's depth here. You can tell stories too. What were you like as a kid? Being a manic depressive in Coventry? I went in and out of being a loner and not a loner, knocking about with older kids, and it was total boredom and getting into trouble. At school, we had coppers on the gate to make sure we didn't get out. Your life was mapped out. Everyone worked in car factories. The idea of actually breaking away from that was just sort of impossible. You had to dumb down a lot to get on. I first got put on Valium when I was like 13. Your mom was ill and on meds too. She was. It's definitely a family thing. Always has been. She gave into her illness and that was fucking horrendous. So do you know what I mean? But she was a total agoraphobic. She never left one room for many years and years and years. Just before she died, she said, "You do know that your dad was a traveler." And I was like, where did this come from? But then you could sort of understand it, how my dad lived, which was really simply. We didn't have any running water or a bathroom, but there'd always be dead fucking animals hanging up everywhere. He'd skin rabbits all the time. And this is in Coventry. Did the music offer an escape? Music didn't ever seem accessible. My dad used to play records by Piaf and Paul Robinson. When I got into Roxy Music and Bowie, it seemed too massive because it was on telly. The first outdoor big gig I went to was Pink Floyd at Nebworth in 1975. Trying to relate to that at 13 was like impossible. How many people have said, until they saw the Clash and the Pistols? It all changed. In Coventry, we all saw the same gig and started to form bands. Me and mates from school did a band called Squad. We didn't have many songs, we just went on stage and made it up. It was a real shame the specials didn't continue. The third album could have been brilliant. You preferred New York punk. Why? I saw Richard Hell and that really blew me away. The first time I thought, I really love that band. They were a lot older. Here, there were like lots of bands like Eater, there were like kids singing about being on the dole. But then bands like Talking Heads and Patti Smith were talking about something else. They weren't talking about working in a factory in Burnley. I found that really interesting. Did punk's provocative side appeal? I thought that was the idea. I like the idea of aggravating people. About the only thing I came away from school with, actually, was how you can aggravate teachers. And more than anything, doing it to suss people out. I remember this gig we did at Nottingham Rock City with the Fun Boy 3. I got there early and brought 30 or 40 American flags and got the crew to put them above the stage. We played the gig and not one of the band questioned it. To me, that was really important because I was questioning why I was doing that, and I did it. What should they have done? Questioned it. It's just me being a bit of a twat really, but you want some reaction. For me, there's always got to be a good reason to do something. That's been not a problem with me, but a bit of a problem with me, questioning everything in my life constantly. My friendships, my relationships, everything. Asking, why am I in this? And why are you in this? Drives you fucking mad, huh? But I haven't always wanted to have a good reason to make a record. The records where I had a real drive and a reason to do them always turn out okay. In 1979, the specials had a real drive and a reason to be. Yeah, it felt valid. That was a time when it was really heavy and controversy. It was pretty horrible. There were a lot of racist attacks, very obvious unemployment. It was like-minded kids getting together and trying to address the situation. Why did it fall apart after only 2 albums? We got on okay, but because there were 7 members, you drift into different little camps and they change all the time. When you started traveling abroad, that's when it became really difficult because you were stuck with each other. Tiny little things like waiting in a hotel reception at 9 o'clock to leave at 9:15 become fucking big issues when it's 9:20. It's what killed the band originally. Hotel receptions. Seriously, was I a bit of a headache? Not a bit. Yeah, I could be an idiot, but I don't know. It got to the stage where we couldn't even travel together. Could you have seen the group continuing? I always thought it was a real shame that we couldn't, because I think the second album is brilliant and the third album could have been really brilliant. It's always confused me when people describe the band as a ska band, because you listen to International Jet Set and it's not ska music. I don't know what music is, but you've got to be together to work, and we couldn't do it. Do you think Jerry Dahmers has sought to claim the band's vision as his own? Jerry's always come out with, I did this and this, and just because I don't say that shit, it doesn't mean it was quite a 7-piece band. You know what I mean? And then you look at our first album, we're like a covers band, and there was no genius there. Jerry was great at arranging stuff, and he's a great songwriter, but it actually did take 7 of us, and that's always been my sort of argument.